Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Nikki Carvell and I am a DJ producer based in Sydney, and I have a passion for disco house. On today's vlog, I'm going to be talking about 5 mistakes that I've made as a DJ and what I've learned from those, and hopefully it will help you along on your DJ journey too. The first mistake I want to talk to you about is saying yes to every gig. It's definitely something that I did in the early days. It didn't matter what the genre was or where the event was. If it came my way, I'd be jumping on it straight away. But over time, I realised that saying yes to every event wasn't actually doing me any favours. In fact, you can really get burnt out by doing gigs that don't serve you and don't help you work towards your ultimate goals. And I've played things like, F45 gyms, I've done birthday parties, I've done corporate events, and they're, predominantly things that I wouldn't normally have said yes to, and none of those really helped me sort of elevate my DJ career. So my sort of focus now is things that are going to help me hit my goals. So, what's my ultimate sort of goal that I want to achieve? What's the kind of music I want to be playing? What's the type of audience I want to be playing to? And if something comes along and it kind of aligns with those things, or I can see it as a stepping stone to help me get to that next thing, then I'll say yes. If it's something that is just another gig, particularly if it's a venue that isn't a reasonably good venue for my type of music, or if it is corporate events and they're going to expect things that I don't enjoy playing, like R&B, really don't enjoy playing that. Like rock music is definitely not something I want to be playing, and I have been in positions where they've expected these kind of things. So now I'm really clear on what I'll do and what events I will play, and that has helped me significantly build my profile and really sort of hone in on my brand. Even though I play way less gigs than I would if I was saying yes to everything, the gigs are quality gigs and they are helping me achieve those next goals. So don't feel like you need to say yes to everything. Ask yourself, why are you saying yes? Like, does it align with your brand? Is it music that you really like to play? Is it a cool venue that is somewhere you want to play? And also, are you getting paid? Are they going to pay you a reasonable amount of money for doing that gig? So as long as you've got a reason for doing it and it's a positive reason, then yes could be the answer. But really think about the things that you're saying yes to, and make sure that they're not going to be detrimental to your ultimate career goals. The second mistake I want to cover off is comparing myself to other DJs. Like, it is, something that we do, and I've touched on this a few times in the past. But I think looking at what everybody else is doing and then trying to replicate that, or question your style of DJing or the tracks that you're playing because somebody else is doing something slightly different, it can get exhausting and it can be soul destroying. So my advice is, innovate, don't replicate. Like, just because somebody else plays in a particular way doesn't mean that you need to do that. In fact, you're probably better off doing something slightly different so that you stand out from them. The tracks that somebody else plays, you don't have to replicate that. You can take inspiration from what they're doing, but it's not something that you need to be necessarily doing yourself or copying. And any given day I could pick up my phone and look at Instagram and I can see literally hundreds of examples of other DJs doing stuff. And if I was to start looking at how do I replicate all of these things, I'd be, spinning around, wondering which direction I need to go in. So I think, set your sort of sights on where you want to be and the type of DJ you want to be, and focus on that, and focus on creating your own unique individual way of doing that. And that will get you further than just trying to replicate and copy, the flavor of the month, because you will burn out and get very confused around what your persona or brand needs to be. Mistake number 3 is not being prepared for technical issues, particularly with USBs. So, usually I would take at least 2 USBs with me, and sometimes 3, depending on the gig, if I really want to make sure that nothing can go wrong. But I've had situations where the link cables have not been working, or my USB hasn't been working when I've plugged that into the decks, even though I've tested it before I've got. So I think having backups, I'm not suggesting you need to be carrying around, a whole heap of cables and things with you. Some people might, but being prepared with at least 2 USBs so that if the cable isn't working, you can still play a set without going through the stress of having to try and achieve that on one deck, which is possible, but under stress is very challenging. So having backup USBs, or if you really want to, taking your laptop along with you so that you can re-export your set if you need to. I've had a situation where my USB didn't load on the deck, and going into major panic, taking over from a friend, and he was like, don't stress, you can play from my USB. Went to play from his USB, and then it turned out the problem was with the deck and not with the USB. So had to turn everything off in the middle of the set, turn everything back on, and then fortunately my USB was functioning. But these things happen, and being prepared for every eventuality will give you, the sort of less stress approach to your gigs when problems do occur. The 4th mistake I want to talk about is overindulging in unknown tracks and losing the crowd. And, this is something that I always sort of try and encourage my students to avoid doing. But I actually did it myself a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not taking my own advice. And I was playing tracks that I love, but were quite obscure tracks, like they weren't mainstream, and for the event that I was playing, it lost the crowd, and I had to work my backside off to try and bring them back to the dance floor. And even playing, sort of banger after banger to try and get them back on the dance floor took a while. It took sort of 4 or 5 tracks before they were like, oh yeah, we're back again with things that we know. Actually had a Sam Devine come in to the DJ school a couple of years ago, and she spoke about how to put a set together that kind of will resonate with the broadest possible group of people. So I try and have, something in there that is obscure, because some people do want to hear new stuff, they want to be educated, but that's usually a very small group of people. Then I try and put things in that are really fresh but popular, so the stuff that's being played in the clubs at the moment, 2 or 3 of those tracks, and then some old school stuff, which fortunately for me isn't difficult, because that's the kind of stuff that I play, or remixes of. So yeah, having those 3 elements in your set will mean that you kind of will have something that everybody can relate to, and everyone will enjoy, if not all of your tracks, they'll definitely enjoy a portion of them. So yeah, I really need to sort of make sure that I don't do that again, because it is bloody hard work once you've lost the dance floor bringing them back. As much as you enjoy those obscure tracks, if it's not right for the event, try and avoid doing that, or avoid playing them all sort of one after another, because that will definitely be where everyone takes the opportunity to go to the bar or have a bathroom break, and you really need to get them back on the dance floor as quick as you can. The final bit of advice I want to talk about, and a mistake I've definitely made and only recently started to rectify, is around having professional quality kind of photos and footage from your gigs, or just being out and about in general, so that when you're posting on Instagram or any social media platform, you've got really nice clear images, and they're engaging, and it looks professional, and people want to start following you. And this is something that my social media coach had been harping on about for a very long time. And I knew I needed to do it, but I just didn't really see, not that I didn't see the benefit of it, but I didn't appreciate the significance of the benefit of doing these things. So recently I had engaged an amazing photographer to come along to a couple of events, and the quality of those images is just amazing, and it really does help my Instagram profile stand out. It looks really nice and clean, and I've really noticed an increase in engagement as well through that. And you don't necessarily need to have, you know, a professional do it, but spending some time maybe with some friends. I've done this as well, where we've gone out into cool places and got pictures of ourselves with pretty cool backdrops. And they're things that you can do in an afternoon. You can go out and take a whole heap of images and get the best of those images, and then use those over a period of weeks or months. And it really makes such a difference. My social media coach is like, you see, I told you. And I'm like, yes, you were right. So invest either in a photographer or in the time with somebody. You know, great photos can be taken on phones these days. You don't need any whiz-bang kind of photography equipment, but it really is worth the effort to get these images and use those on your profiles, and it just helps elevate you and makes you look significantly more professional. So yeah, they're my 5 tips. I hope you got something out of today's vlog, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with some more content in the future. Thanks for watching.